So today I'm going to bring you the story of Samson. Now one day God spoke to Samson's mom and he told her, I will be giving you a son. And she was just like, oh, thank you. He said, but wait, there's rules though. You are not to drink. You are to only eat clean foods. And you are not to cut this man's hair because in his hair will be his strength. So basically he was big, strong, with a lot of hair. Now the whole purpose of Samson being on this earth was to begin to deliver Israel from the Philistines. Meaning he was to fight. Meaning he was to not back down. Meaning he was to tap that booty. But instead of fighting the Philistines, guess what old Samson do? Guess. He goes and marries one. Because we all know even the strongest person wants a little love. So the Philistines ain't like that. So you know what they did? They ran up in their house, set her and her father on fire. Well, after the Philistines set his wife and her father on fire, Samson just got mad and went on a rampage. I mean, this man was killing everybody. All the Philistines. So after all that, guess what he did? He moved his people. Now, which was your purpose anyway? Oh, but we ain't done. Because guess what? In the midst of the fight, guess what Samson does again? Sees a woman. And guess what the woman was? Another Philistine. And guess what Samson does? Marry her. Now, the second wife, which was the second Philistine, name was Delilah. Ooh, how he loved Delilah so. And Delilah loved him too. But let me tell you what else Delilah loved. That money. Oh yeah. The love of money is the root of all evil. Remember that. So one day the Philistines came and got little old Delilah. And they asked Delilah, why is Samson so strong? Like, where did he get his strength from? She didn't know. They didn't know. Nobody knew. Because this was a strength of no man. This was a strength sent straight from God. So they told Delilah, if you find out what Samson's strength is, all of this can be yours. All of it. So you know what Delilah did. Delilah went on back, laid up, batted them little eyes, and said, Samson, where do you get your strength from? And Samson, being that old sucker for love, told her, I get my strength from God. But there are things that I'm forbidden to do, like cutting my hair. So you already know when Delilah heard that, she was like, yes, all of the money is mine. And inside. That night, do you know what Delilah did? The woman that he loved, the woman that he trusted with this information, she cut his hair. Because he told her, if my hair is to be cut, God will take away my strength. My strength will leave me with my hair. Because my strength is in my hair. So that night when he sleep, Delilah went to chopping that hair. Just second. So Samson woke up, the Philistines was in his house, and his hair was chopped off. Samson was weak. So you know what one of the Philistines did? They took their thumb, dug it deep in both of his eyeballs to the point where his sight was no longer. So Samson was blind, and he no longer was strong. So the Philistines thought that they won. They done defeated Samson. And you want to know what Samson told them? Thank you. Because now he ain't got to see temptation. All he can do is hear from God. Because when you lose one, you gain more in the other one. Do you hear me? At that moment, Samson realized the strength was not in his hair. The strength was in God. And the stronger he is in God, the stronger God is in him. Hello. And the crazy thing about it, he went his whole life thinking that the strength was really in his hair. Which it seemed like to me, God knew he was going to be weak to the women and tail. And so did the enemy. So instead of the enemy coming at him spiritually, they came at him physically. Because obviously, Samson was weak at the flesh. Because the enemy just kept on sending women. Because he knew that's what Samson was weak at. So what you think would have happened if the whole time Samson knew that the strength really wasn't in his hair, it was in God? What do you think the enemy really would have came against? His spirit, probably, right? So it was like, really, God just threw him a little curveball, like, beep, beep, beep. Yeah, you think you know, but you really don't know. I mean, you gotta think. They broke this man down. They took his strength by cutting off his hair, and they made him blind so he couldn't even see the fight. Now, one time did the enemy come after his mind, though. He came after all the fleshly things, all the physical. He kept a woman in Samson's face because he know women will be a distraction which will cause him to be weak and vulnerable. He cut his hair because he found out that's where his strength was. And he took his sight from him. That means he couldn't see when to fight or when a fight was coming. But if the enemy knew to come against anything in the spiritual and not the physical, what do you think the enemy would have done? Came for his mind. Came for his spirit. Caused confusion within your mind. Because if the enemy would have known that this and this is what made him who he was, they would have came and tried to attack it. But at the same time, this story just proves you got to watch who's around you. You see, because the devil ain't going to come personally and knock on your door. He going to send somebody. And that's why you got to surround yourself around godly people. People that have a faith system. People that have a godly conscience. Because if Delilah had a faith system, or if she had a godly conscience, that money would have never fazed her. Because a godly person with a godly conscience know that God is love. And that was not an act of love. And that's why they say to be equally yoked. Some people don't surround themselves around people that's in their yoke. It don't matter if it's your friend, your family, your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, or wife. If they are not a woman nor a man of God, they can be used as your downfall. Because the enemy know he can't get to you by himself. So he will use the ones around you. So that's why whoever is around you is important in you. And you must know who they are. Not only in this world, but you must know who they are in Christ. Because even the one you love the most can and will be used to come against you. Especially when the enemy know that you are chosen and God has a plan for you. You can't surround yourself around those type of people. You can't surround yourself around negativity. You can't surround yourself around bad spirits. You can't surround yourself around hatred. And people who do ungodly things and speak ungodly words. Because those are the type of people that will never, ever have your best interests at heart. Interest. You know, sometimes these braces. Interest. I have a hard time sometimes. But yeah, you get what I'm saying. So watch who you around.